It's like a curse for developers. These are not the words of a disgruntled fan or a pessimistic analyst. These are the words of a man who was once at the very heart of Rockstar Games, a former technical director who helped shape the legendary Grand Theft Auto franchise. And he's talking about the single most anticipated piece of entertainment in human history, Grand Theft Auto 6. The curse he speaks of isn't about haunted code or mythical glitches. It's a fundamental, almost unbreakable law of game development that will directly impact your experience when you finally get your hands on the game. So what is this devastating curse? It's the reason why your powerful, state-of-the-art PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X will almost certainly be forced to run Grand Theft Auto 6 at a modest 30 frames per second. Yes, you heard that right, 30. Today, we're going to break down exactly why this is the case, according to the man who knows the engine's secrets. We'll delve deep into the mind of Rockstar legend Abe Vermeij to understand the brutal trade-offs that come with creating a world as ambitious as the one promised in Grand Theft Auto 6. We'll explore why pushing the boundaries of graphical fidelity inevitably means sacrificing that silky smooth 60 frames per second performance that many gamers now consider standard. And stick around, because we'll also uncover his startling and revolutionary vision for the future of the series, a future where Grand Theft Auto 7 could be made faster and cheaper than ever before, all thanks to the power of artificial intelligence. This is the story of ambition, sacrifice, and the technological curse that haunts the biggest game on the planet. Before we dissect this curse, let's understand who the messenger is. The name is Abe Vermeij. While he might not be a household name like Sam or Danhauser, his influence on the Grand Theft Auto series is monumental. Vermeij served as the technical director at Rockstar North for a crucial period in the company's history. He was a key figure during the development of groundbreaking titles like Grand Theft Auto 3, the game that revolutionized open-world design. And he stayed with the company all the way through the release of the gritty, paradigm-shifting Grand Theft Auto 4. He was there in the trenches, wrestling with the code, pushing the limits of the hardware of the time to create the living, breathing cities that captivated millions. Although he left the studio after shipping Grand Theft Auto 4 long before the behemoth that was Grand Theft Auto 5 came to dominate the last decade, his understanding of the company's philosophy, its technical ambitions, and the very DNA of its game engine is second to none. So when Abe Vermeij speaks, it's not just speculation. It's an educated prediction from someone who has been behind the curtain, someone who has faced the very same developmental demons that the current team at Rockstar is undoubtedly battling right now. In a recent, incredibly insightful interview on the Kiwi Talks podcast, Vermeij laid out what he believes is the inevitable fate of Grand Theft Auto 6's performance, and his reasoning paints a fascinating, if slightly sobering, picture. So, what is this curse? Why would a company as powerful and resourceful as Rockstar Games, working on a game with a budget rumored to be in the billions, settle for 30 frames per second in the year 2026? The answer, according to Vermeij, is simple and lies in one word: ambition. The curse is the relentless, insatiable desire to push the bar higher with every single release. It's a philosophy that is baked into Rockstar's identity. They don't just make sequels, they aim to create new benchmarks for the entire industry. Think about the leap from Grand Theft Auto 5 to the world we glimpsed in that first jaw-dropping trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. The level of detail is simply on another plane of existence. The character models, the lighting, the water physics, the sheer density of the world, it's all a quantum leap forward. And this is where the curse takes hold. Every single element of that heightened reality comes at a computational cost. Every additional pedestrian you see walking down the neon-soaked streets of Vice City needs to be rendered, its animations calculated, its artificial intelligence pathfinding processed. You want a truly crowded beach scene? You can't just have a handful of non-player characters scattered around like in older games. You need hundreds, maybe thousands, each behaving realistically to sell the fantasy. Each of those NPCs is a drain on the console's central processing unit, the CPU. Then there's the graphical fidelity, the domain of the graphics processing unit, or GPU. You want hyper-realistic reflections in every puddle and storefront window? That requires intensive ray tracing calculations. You want lush, dense foliage in the Everglades that sways realistically in the wind? Every single leaf and blade of grass adds to the geometric complexity that the GPU must draw every single frame. You want light to filter through a dusty room in a way that feels tangible and atmospheric? That requires sophisticated volumetric lighting systems. Vermeil explains that developers are constantly in a state of tug-of-war with the hardware. They have a target. Let's say it's creating the most believable digital city ever seen. They start building, adding more detail, more cars, more people, more physics simulations. With each addition, the frame rate, which is essentially how many new images the console can draw per second, begins to drop. It might start high, at 60 or more, in an empty test environment. But as the world gets filled in, as it becomes the living, breathing place we expect from a Grand Theft Auto title, that number plummets, from 60 to 50 to 40. Eventually, the developers reach a crossroads. They can either start dialing back their ambition, reduce the number of people on the street, simplify the lighting, use lower resolution textures, essentially making the game look less impressive. Or they can make a choice. They can lock the frame rate at a lower, but crucially, stable and consistent target. For a game of this scale and complexity, that target is almost always 30 frames per second. A stable 30 is vastly preferable to a frame rate that constantly fluctuates between, say, 45 and 35, as that inconsistency creates a jarring, stuttering effect that can ruin the experience. Locking it down ensures a smooth, cinematic feel, even if it's not as fluid as 60. This is the curse. To achieve the next level of visual splendor, you must sacrifice the next level of performance fluidity. You simply cannot have both. Not at the scale Rockstar is aiming for, not even on the powerful hardware of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Those consoles, while impressive, are not magic. They have finite resources, and a game like Grand Theft Auto 6 is designed to push those resources to their absolute breaking point. It's a bitter pill to swallow for many, especially in an era where 60 frames per second is becoming the norm. If you're one of the many hoping against hope that Rockstar pulls a rabbit out of the hat and delivers a 60 frames per second performance mode, go ahead and hit that like button. It will be interesting to see just how many of us are praying for that smooth performance. But based on this insider's take, we should probably temper our expectations and prepare for a visually stunning, cinematically smooth 30 frames per second experience. This relentless pursuit of graphical perfection doesn't just impact the final frame rate, it has a profound effect on the entire development process. It helps explain why the wait between Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 6 has been so incredibly long, over a decade. Crafting a world with this insane level of detail is a Herculean task that requires an immense amount of time, manpower, and of course, money. The article mentions that the game was even delayed from an initial target, now pointing towards a release on May 26, 2026. Every asset, from the smallest piece of trash on the sidewalk to the largest skyscraper, has to be created with a level of fidelity that surpasses anything that came before it. The animations have to be more lifelike, the physics more realistic, the artificial intelligence more sophisticated. Achieving a stable 30 frames per second across a massive, dynamic open world on multiple hardware platforms without significant bugs or glitches is a monumental feat of engineering. This long development cycle and the eventual 30 frames per second lock are two sides of the same coin, the price of Rockstar's uncompromising ambition. When Grand Theft Auto 6 does launch, it will be exclusively for the current generation of consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S. There's no mention of a PC version at launch, which is standard practice for Rockstar. They typically release the console versions first, and then a more polished and hopefully higher performance PC version follows a year or so later. So, for console players, the choice seems clear. Embrace the 30 frames per second lock as a necessary sacrifice for a world that will likely redefine what we thought was possible in video games. It's a trade-off that Rockstar has made before, and it's a trade-off that has resulted in some of the most successful and beloved games of all time. But while the immediate future of Grand Theft Auto 6 seems set in a 30 frames per second reality,
Abe Vermeij also offered a fascinating, almost science fiction glimpse into the more distant future, specifically concerning a potential Grand Theft Auto 7. He speculates that the next installment in the series, whenever it may arrive, could be a completely different beast in terms of its development. The key to this transformation? Artificial intelligence.
Vermeij believes that AI is poised to make groundbreaking changes in the way games are made. This isn't about AI replacing human creativity entirely, but rather about it becoming an incredibly powerful tool that could dramatically accelerate and simplify many of the most time-consuming aspects of development. Imagine an AI that can generate entire city blocks, complete with realistic buildings, road layouts, and prop placements, based on a few simple parameters from a designer. Think of AI systems that can help animate characters more quickly, or even generate believable, non-repetitive dialogue for the thousands of non-player characters that populate the world. If these technologies mature in the way Vermeij and many others in the industry predict, the consequences could be staggering. He suggests that a game like Grand Theft Auto 7 could take significantly less time to reach the finish line. The decade-plus waits could become a thing of the past. Furthermore, the production costs, which have ballooned to astronomical figures, could be significantly lowered. This is a game changer, not just for Rockstar, but for the entire industry. If the biggest, most complex games become cheaper and faster to make, it opens up a world of possibilities. Vermeij speculates that this could lead to increased risk-taking in game development. When you're not betting the entire company on a single billion-dollar project that takes a decade to make, you can afford to be more experimental. Studios could be more willing to invest in new, niche ideas or genres, breaking away from the safe, formulaic sequels that currently dominate the blockbuster space. It's a utopian vision of a future where development is democratized, where creativity is less constrained by budget and time, and where gamers are treated to a more diverse and rapidly evolving landscape of interactive entertainment. Of course, he's not alone in this hope. Many developers are looking to AI as the next great leap forward for the medium. This vision of an AI-powered future for gaming is a truly wild one, and we will absolutely tracking its development every single step of the way. If you want to join us on that incredible journey into the future of gaming, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an important update or deep dive. The potential is immense, but it will be fascinating to see how it balances with the human artistry that has always been at the heart of games like Grand Theft Auto. So, there you have it. The developer's curse, as described by a true Rockstar veteran, provides a compelling explanation for what we should expect from Grand Theft Auto 6. The likely 30 frames per second lock isn't a sign of failure or a lack of optimization, it is the calculated cost of ambition. It is the price we pay for Rockstar Games to deliver on its promise of a world more detailed, more immersive, and more alive than anything we have ever experienced before. From the sheer density of life in the streets of Vice City to the breathtaking graphical fidelity of its environments, every element is being pushed to the absolute limit of what current generation consoles can handle. While this may be a disappointment for those who prioritize buttery smooth performance above all else, it's a trade-off that is fundamental to the creative philosophy of Rockstar Games. And as we look beyond Grand Theft Auto 6, the horizon is filled with tantalizing possibilities. The potential for artificial intelligence to revolutionize the development of games like Grand Theft Auto 7 could shatter the decade-long waiting periods and astronomical budgets we've grown accustomed to, possibly ushering in a new golden age of creativity and experimentation. For now, all eyes are on that May 26, 2026 release date. We will have to wait and see if Rockstar's grand bargain pays off, and if the sacrifice in frame rate is worth the promised leap in virtual world creation. One thing is for certain, the curse of ambition is what drives this industry forward, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is poised to be its most spectacular manifestation yet. Thank you for watching.